This is actually a photo book, one of those Costco photo books that you order with all your pictures. And I put it together about our Spain trip, and I thought it came out really nice. And I had the idea that if I could get all the pages together in sequence and kind of put them in a movie, and then have Lily and I sit down and kind of reminisce a little bit about each page and each thing that we did during that day, and kind of tell you a little bit about it, a little bit more, like behind the scenes, a little more to the story. So, hope you enjoy.
Okay, so this is our first day. We just got into Madrid, and it's midday, so we couldn't check in yet. So we left our bags at the hotel and started walking around.
We looked pretty rested for just getting off the plane.
This is around noon time, I think.
Are you sure? We look very rested.
Yeah, and then we came across this churros y chocolateria, and come to find out, it's one of the things that was on my list.
How do you say that? San Ginés Chocolateria.
So it was good. The first few churros was good. So after first few bites of the churros, it got to be too sweet and too thick, and I couldn't have another bite. I couldn't even take a look at another sign with churros y chocolateria sign anymore.
So day 2, as we were walking around Madrid, we got to know more of what was around our hotel.
And just, walking around, we came across the cathedral, the Royal Palace, and Plaza de Oriente. So this is pretty neat.
Okay, so still in Madrid, we went to visit a church, and then later that evening watched the sunset.
This was over at the Temple of the Bod. So remember when I was taking a time lapse and somebody walked in front of my time lapse, screwed it all up towards the end. What a guy.
That's right.
And then this La Casa de la Abuela is supposedly one of the oldest restaurants over at the Plaza Real area.
1908, I think it says. Yeah.
1906.
1906.
Okay, so we had our first tapas over at that La Casa del Abuelo. And then the next day, we went to Mercado de San Miguel and more tapas.
It's kind of the famous, like the touristy.
Like the market.
All the tourists go there for tapas.
All kinds of different tapas.
And they have like little stalls. It's almost like the Grand Street Market or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we went on a tour and saw
Calle de Cervantes.
The house where Miguel de Cervantes lived. And this was a fun evening. Flamenco.
These guys are really good. Yeah.
I kind of thought it was going to be lame, but it was really good.
Yeah.
I was like, this is going to be...
It was pretty fun.
Yeah, it was cool.
And then after the flamenco, right across the street, there's a restaurant that's pretty well known for their paella. So we went there, and you can see in the pictures right alongside, there's like 2 long tables with college kids from the hostel in that area. They were having such a great fun.
And the paella was fantastic.
Yep. So still in Madrid, we took a tour of the Royal Palace, and these are some pictures of inside the Royal Palace. And during our walkabout, I just came across this sign with all kinds of different Madrid plates. Thought it was pretty cool.
I think that was like a kind of a tourist shop, but it was pretty neat.
Yep.
But then we went, I think in the morning, we went to that park. What was the park?
I don't know what that park is.
With the fountain and everything and the big lake. And then after we went on a bus tour of Madrid. This is kind of like our final wrap up, right? To kind of see everything that we didn't see during the 3 or 4 days that we were there.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting to the beginning of our Camino. Going to Madrid was sort of just a side trip. This is really what we came here for.
So we took the train from Sevilla, from Madrid to Sevilla, and Here's a picture of us getting off the train. So everybody in that train was going on the hike, going on this Camino de Santiago. So
And
just,
Sarria is kind of a small town.
Yep, quiet town, and most of the people there were basically the people that were going on this hike. Okay, so this is our first day of our hike.
We left early in the morning.
And yeah, Scott didn't add the picture here with, our very first steep set of stairs.
Yeah, it was a bit hilly at first.
Yep. But so this is our first day. It was a really nice day. And, the trail's really clean.
And beautiful scenery.
Beautiful, yes. All the stones, definitely a lot of climbing.
It didn't disappoint in terms of the scenery and how beautiful Spain is.
Yeah, and you can never get lost, right? Because there's all kinds of sign, and there's all kinds of people doing the walk, so can't ever get lost. There's always somebody.
So our first stop was Puerto Marin.
I don't know what.
From Sarria I think that was the first stop, right?
I don't know.
Okay. And let's say it was. And then the next day after that, we got up and kept walking.
So here's just some examples of, the signs.
Those yellow arrows with the...
Yellow arrows everywhere. On the road, on signs like this, on the wall. There was one, it's like a chair, a bench. That was a sign pointing us to the right direction, but very nice scenery altogether.
So basically, the idea is to go from town to town. You'd walk through the Spanish countryside, and you'd go to different towns. So the next stop was Melide, which was pretty cool, and very, very beautiful little town. All kinds of really old stone buildings. We'd stop at churches, get our passport stamped, not our actual real passport, but
the Camino de Santiago passport.
We started off with our own Camino passport that they would give you stamps at each stop.
Mm-hmm.
And you needed all those stamps to show at the very end that you would get your certificate.
That you actually went town to town, and that you didn't just taxi it from town to town.
Right. So then I think the next stop was Arzua, and that to me seemed like a really long walk to get there, to get to Arzua. That seemed like it took a very long time. And I was very tired that afternoon. Yeah. And then we started off the next morning from Arzua and going to Pedruso. And along the way, I got hungry and I wanted to eat. I wanted to have a hamburger.
No, this is the last day. This is the last day from Pedruso, and we were on our way to Santiago already.
Oh, okay.
And you're like, oh, I'm so hungry, and I'm like, just let's keep going. And you decided that you wanted to stop and get a burger. And
roadside.
Oh my God, this burger was crazy.
I think it had
big.
like 2 quarter-pound patties, and it was on this huge roll. There was no way that I was ever going to finish that. And it was kind of gross too. The patties were like pink. It was like pink meat. I don't know.
Scott's like, you want some? I'm like, nope, not going to have that.
And the roll wasn't good, so it wasn't the hamburger that I was really wanting.
It's so funny because when we got to Santiago, I think that hamburger really took a toll on you.
Yeah.
And you can just, that picture of you is
Well, it's not
perfect.
good to eat a big, heavy meal when you're walking. Keep it light, keep it fruits and things like that, but don't eat a big, giant hamburger and then go for a 10-mile walk.
You wanted your burger.
I did. It was a bad idea. So then here we are getting to Santiago. They have some signs that we stood in front of. And then I have my Westways. My idea was to send it into Westways and get in the thing, which I never did.
But we have a picture of it.
And we have a picture of me holding the stupid Westways magazine that I lugged all the way. Anyway, so we made it.
Made it.
And here's a picture of our certificates that we got.
And the passport.
And we had to stand in a big long line, and it was very confusing as to how to get our certificates, but we did it. And then we went to the church in Santiago.
We actually attended the mass. Oh my gosh, it was packed.
And that church was just the altar was all gold and just and then the organ, the pipe organ with those really cool pipes sticking out. Oh my god, that was so cool looking.
Yeah. Yep, it's nice.
And we got all cleaned up and walked around the city, and then we stayed in Santiago a couple of days, right?
Yeah.
I think it was a couple of days, and then we took a tour.
Yeah, the following day we took a tour all the way to Finisterre, which is, the 0 point.
It's the westernmost point of northern part of Spain, the westernmost point you can get until your hat floats, until the Atlantic.
Yep. And guess what's over there? A Tesla destination charger. Who would have known?
That's funny. Yeah, it was very windy, but it was very beautiful, and we got to stand in front of the 000 sign, which was quite an accomplishment, I thought, for us.
Yeah.
After walking, I don't know, almost 200 miles?
No.
Yeah, it was 190, I calculated
kilometers.
No, the whole vacation was like 193 miles we walked.
All total.
Yeah.
And we were there 2 weeks.
Yeah. So
it was fun.
Then we made it to Barcelona. We took a flight.
Yep, because we went from coast to coast, right?
Yep, from the west coast all the way to the east coast along the Mediterranean. And the first night, we left our hotel after checking in and just went walking around and found this fantastic park. What is it? Parque
de la Ciutadella.
Ciutadella.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful. And there's all those people exercising all over the place.
Yeah.
It was really...
They're very into their physical activities.
Yep. And then we found this little tapas place that we ate out on the street.
Yeah, on the way home, on the way back to the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
In the evening it comes alive, and all these restaurants have tables set up outside and more tapas.
And a lot of people every time we got the same comment, we'd say we're from California. They'd go, "Ooh, that's very far." I don't know why they would say that, but it seemed far to them.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next day was a real treat.
We went and visited the Sagrada Familia.
One of probably the number one thing you have to do in Barcelona.
Yes, you can't miss it.
You cannot miss it. Fantastic, beautiful church. Church doesn't even describe it, right?
At first it's overwhelming, because you're just looking at all these things on the door, outside the church is just too much. But you take the tour and you get a little bit more understanding as to the stories behind it. And inside the church is just amazing.
Designed by the artist Gaudi. And it's been under construction for 200 years.
Still under construction,
following his original drawings. Of course, he's not.
Yep.
Hasn't been around for a long time, but they're still following his...
And one of the things that we did while we were at the Sagrada Familia, we took this tour to go all the way to the top, right?
Yep, we up that spiral staircase all the way to one of the top of the spires. And that picture of me, that's looking out to the city of Barcelona, that's my little thumbnail photo for my YouTube channel. That's where I got that photo.
It's very nice.
So then the next day, we walked up a bunch of really steep hills. I remember those hills, to Park Güell, which which is probably the number 2 destination in Barcelona that you need to go to, in my opinion.
Yes.
And how would you describe Park Güell?
It's pretty interesting.
It's a park with
Yes.
all kinds of mosaic tiles. You would use any kind of broken little colorful tiles to just...
Yeah. So Gaudi is very forward-thinking person, right? Because he's got like all these channels behind the benches where it's really there to collect rainwater. There's all, as you're walking, you'll notice all these channels on the side too.
Well, I think it was originally designed to be kind of a futuristic town that he was going to build, but it was up on the side of this hill, and there was no way to get up there a long time ago, so it didn't really become anything, and just kind of became a park. And anyway, really interesting.
Yep, can't miss it.
And then we went walking around other parts of Barcelona. We did a couple of walking tours.
Yeah.
La Rambla, which is kind of the touristy street.
Yeah, that's a lot of La Rambla is it's more like they have the middle of the street with just restaurants and eateries and really touristy spot. Very expensive, if you ask me.
We got up the next day and we had a bus tour. The bus came to pick us up with a few other people that were going to Montserrat, which is another thing that you have to do in Barcelona, right?
I mean, to me, that's just one of the things that I wanted to see. It's not really in Barcelona. It's kind of a waste.
It's up in the hills.
Yeah.
It's about an hour drive. Up in the hills, like if you went to Big Bear.
Yeah,
from
but
our house or something.
It's really
like
nice.
Yeah.
They have this. What do you call this?
Funicular.
Funicular. That's like really steep.
That goes to the top of the mountain. Well, you go quite far up, and the church is really far up in the hills. But then from there, you even go farther up to the very top of the mountain.
Yeah.
And that's where we are standing there.
So we took the funicular up, but then we hiked down.
Yep. And then we toured the church, and they had the boys' choir in the church,
inside,
which was fantastic.
They were performing.
So later that same evening, we decided.
After Montserrat, we went to, I think this is Plaza de España.
Yeah, we walked.
And they have the water fountain show.
Playing to music in all different colors. And we had to wait several hours for it to get dark. And there was just everybody in the town seemed to come out.
It was very impressive.
Yeah. And then...
water everywhere. I'm like, there is no water shortage.
And then the next day we kind of had... It was like our last day in Spain, in Barcelona. And we kind of had a throwaway day. We really didn't have much to do. So we just walked down to the beach and walked to...
Yeah, Barceloneta. We went...
This spire, it's commemorating, I forget who. And just walking down the different streets and kind of saying our goodbye as we were going. We stopped at a chocolate shop and bought some treats and some souvenirs and just our sort of farewell walk around Barcelona.
It was really nice. We would gladly go again.
Oh, I would do it in a second, yeah.
It was great. But this time we'll be more prepared because Scott was saying during our walk that we should have walked more.
Yeah.
But whenever I asked him to go walk, he's like, "What? But that's so long."
Yeah, and it wasn't long enough because some of those days were, 6 to 8 hours of walking
and steep
and up hills, and it was a little warm, and I should have prepared a little bit more, getting in shape.
Yeah,
I think I would have had a nicer time because I got tired.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
But all in all, it was a great trip, and I would definitely recommend Spain. And Emily's going there this summer.
Yep.
So she's gonna have her own story to tell.
And then we'll be back to do maybe another Camino route.
Another Camino.
The back of our book shows the route that we took. There's lots of other routes that you can go on, and we would like to do some of those, maybe through Portugal or start in France or something like that.
Yeah. All right. Until the next Camino.
Hope you enjoyed this, and thanks for watching.